Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at our most recent update to the Education Masterclass. This is what I would consider kind of a semi-final draft. There's a couple pieces missing, but let's give you an overview. So, of course, we still have the introduction and the introduction video. One thing I have added or will be adding is the course schedule / pacing guide. So it's going to be right here for students that says week 1 should be this, week 2 should be this, yada, yada, yada. Obviously, don't make that till the very end because you won't know what you have to pace until you have it all. Then we have pretty much the same things in the initial module as we talked about last time, except I moved the employment pieces out into an entirely separate component down here that can be easily snapped off or broken off as part of a post-employment training process rather than this pre-employment training as we discussed. So a lot of those things like contract, evaluation tool, online ethics training, My Richland boot camp, things like that move down to there. So this is more just a matter of introductory job description, faculty office, where I do have the what adjuncting means to me. Now, that part, I've sent you out the wording, and then Kona made some even better changes to that wording, but that needs to go to adjunct instructors. I have yet to receive anything from an adjunct instructor, so if you'd like that as part of this training, I'm going to need you guys to send that out again and follow up with a couple key faculty that you might like to be a part of this process. With that, I have taken, and there's the Your Turn component here at the end. So each section has a Your Turn component. The other thing that I have added is as we've gone through here, you have the same videos as usual that we had previously. Those move into the discussion that we talked about last time. And then as you go through, you have Your Turn, and this can be submitted via a text box, external link, or in a lot of cases, Canvas Studio, because we're trying to encourage students to use the Canvas Studio. So with that in mind, that brings us down to the only thing left in presence is I need conversation with Dr. Z and the accompanying component for Your Turn there. On the other hand, I have included the technical bits, the how-to pieces in tech breaks. So I have for every introduction or instructional piece, discussion piece, then a tech break for almost every module. And then after the tech break is Your Turn. Sometimes tech break and Your Turn turn into the same thing because it simply lends itself to that. So we talk about types of digital classrooms and instructions. And then we even have optional bonus series, as you mentioned last time, that go into greater depth if a student wants to go into greater depth on something like that. Then we have, again, the basic Canvas training. And moving on down, we get down to our discussions. To give you an idea of one of our discussions, we have Alex. We did our discussion together. And so we discussed student services. We also already had our discussion with Thrive. So that's already included here as well. Something I did do is I also made it a podcast version. So for these longer conversations, the student can use it as a podcast and listen to it rather than having to watch it because there's nothing necessarily required to see our faces. So learning options, again, showing that you can have an auditory learning option as well as a video learning option. With that in mind, we go through, we also have our social emotional component and the 5 competencies for social emotional learning. That's already in there. So these teaching conversations, are already put in. All I have yet to do is Tina's, which is scheduled. Ellen, I need to get one scheduled with you and one scheduled with Dr. Z, and those teaching conversations will be completed at that point. Again, using Canvas Studio as part of Your Turn. Coming down, we have instruction, we have discussion, we have Your Turn, we have tech break. Again, the 4 key things that have to be completed for screencasting. So the basic 4 ways that screencasting can be used in education. So that's a mandatory component there. and then additional optional components for additional training if they're interested. So pretty much all of the things that we talked about. So go ahead, go through the course, and I'll put the link to access the course in the email here as well. But you can see pretty much 95% what the course is going to look like, minus those 3 conversations, minus the meet the adjuncts, which I need your assistance with. And one more thing. That final thing is the mentoring aspect. That was included in the grant. That was something that Ellen mentioned that would be good to put in here, a mentoring assignment component. However, I don't know where your heads are on how that's going to be structured or who that's going to be structured with. So I'm going to need you guys to give me more guidance. I'll be happy to flesh something out. I'll be happy to put it in here. It could go in a variety of places, but I'm going to need a little more guidance from you guys on that one, on how best to transition to mentoring. So that part I need your assistance with. Kind of our penultimate project is, whether it's the how to do video, the content, the learning, the presence, the process, the product, etc. The assessment. Assessment is now included in here. There's a whole section on it and an assignment therein. And all of those assignments build up to these 2 your turn projects, where the student will have to record basically a lesson, a 5 to 8 minute lesson, where they are presenting as if in front of a classroom, or where they have to present as if they were presenting online. And so I include a couple examples of how that might happen to look. Again, encouraging them to use Canvas Studio, but also allowing those third-party apps and projects, because it's going to look a little different depending on who they are. This is the update. I need those 3 big things from you guys. Help on the adjunct, welcome to adjuncting, talking with a couple more people, and also on the mentoring component, I need your assistance on what you're looking for there. Other than that, I'm really ready for you guys to start digging into this, see what I've missed, see what you don't like, see what you'd like changed, etc. But I think I have a pretty good picture of what we had talked about previously. So with that in mind, thank you very much. I look forward to hearing from you guys again.